This video is being made specifically for my students who are about to take a vocabulary quiz on chapter 9 of our book. So without further ado, let's get started. Looking at the map of the continental United States, we have a chain of mountains called the Rocky Mountains, somewhere along here, something like that. And when it rains, let's find a good color. When it rains, there'll be angles to the land, and all the water will flow off that land, and we call that runoff. And it'll, let's say, in this area right here, all that land will run off into this river or stream. And then maybe in this area here, all of that water from this area of the land will flow into this river or stream, and maybe they meet. Okay, and then over here, all of the water in this area of land will kind of flow into this river or stream, and you can kind of see where I'm going here. And then one stream will lead into another, one river will flow into another. Okay, and then this area, this land area, will collect water, and all of that water will flow into maybe this stream or river. Alright, so an area of land that has water flowing into a certain stream or river, that is called a watershed. Watershed. Alright, going back to my picture though. Okay, so we have all these rivers and streams making kind of a system flowing, and you can see that the rivers and streams can connect, and they will eventually flow into the Pacific. Okay, now all of these streams or rivers that connect and flow into a larger body of water, those are called tributaries. Tributaries. Okay, so tributaries are all the rivers that flow into a larger body of water. Okay, so that's two. Here we have some more tributaries, and that'll flow into, eventually they'll flow into the Mississippi. Okay, kind of a long way to go. Alright, so that'll flow into the Mississippi. Okay, so all of these rivers and streams, those are tributaries of the Mississippi River, which goes along here. Okay. Alright, now here we have a large watershed, and here we have another large watershed, and this division here, this line of mountains that separate two opposing watersheds, where we have a watershed pushing water that way, we have a watershed pushing down that way. This high area of land that separates watersheds, that is called a divide. I'll maybe put it over on the right side. Divide. Okay, so we can knock off 3 vocabulary terms: watershed, tributaries, and divide. Alright, moving on. Okay, now let's take a closer look at what happens in a river or stream. Let's say this is the bottom of a stream or river, and we will make this the surface of the river. And then at the bottom, I'll use yellow for lack of a better color, we have pebbles and rocks. Okay, sediment at the very bottom, large particles of rock that kind of collect at the bottom, right? Alright, now let's say this river is flowing this direction, so the current of the river will eventually move these rocks in that direction also. Okay? Alright, all the pebbles and all of the rock material at the bottom of a stream that will be moved by the stream, that is called the bed load. Okay, so it's all the sediments at the bottom of the stream, all the rocks and pebbles that get pushed along with the current of the stream. Okay, also in the middle of this stream, you're going to have even smaller particles that aren't large enough to kind of just fall straight to the bottom. They kind of stay in the current, and they flow with the current of the stream, but they're not floating on top and they're not at the bottom. These little particles are called, this is called suspension particles. Suspension particles. Alright. And finally, I'm going to try to explain another term, another couple terms that's a little hard to draw, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Let's say that we have this stream flowing down this direction, alright, and we have all of this jagged floor bed here, and it's flowing, and then it flows into this next stream. Okay, so this is stream 1 and this is stream 2. Alright, now where one river or stream flows into the other river or stream, that elevation, the elevation where those two streams connect, that is called the base level. Now with this base level and this flowing of the water will eventually subside. It'll maybe cut down into it. It'll do some down cutting. Here you can see it maybe a down cut a little bit and eroded part of that waterbed. Okay, if you're understanding that, I'm hoping. The water eroded at the bottom, but now it's kind of reached a time where the water just kind of flows right into this other stream here. Now if something happens to the erosion and the runoff of the first stream, for instance, if instead of it being rough, it smooths out. Let's say it smooths out here, and now it's more like that. And so now it's smoothing out. So now this runoff at the top is going to be much faster, and the runoff is going to increase, and then when it gets to the bottom and hits this stream 2, it's going to hit with a greater force and maybe down cut a little bit more and cut a depression and erode some, and what you get there is a new base level where now the water is no longer here, let me just draw this. Now the water is no longer at this level. Now the water is reaching the stream at a lower level, and the base level has changed from up here to down here, and it's doing some more down cutting. So in the definitions of the book, the term rejuvenation, I think, rejuvenation is when a stream resumes its down cutting, and that can happen for a couple of different reasons. One, the surface is eroded and it's a lot smoother, so that increases the runoff. Maybe the slope of the land, instead of it being here, maybe the land shifts and the slope of the land increases, and so there's a greater force of the water, and the water hits the next stream with a greater force and increases more down cutting. Okay, maybe I should have drawn that. That makes a little bit more sense, easier to understand. So the rejuvenation of a stream is when there is a difference in the flow of water, and at the end of that flow it cuts down into that next river or stream, and that is rejuvenation. Alright, so I know it's a long video. Hopefully those explanations help you for the quiz.